Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life, a Life You. I am your host, Dr. Veronica Garcia, and it is a joy and just such a pleasure to have you guys join us today. Today, I am joined by one of our newer executive members of Life University, Mr. Cedric Gaddy. Gaddy, I apologize. Yes. Mr. Cedric Gaddy, welcome to Life University. How are you doing?
Thank you. Great to be here. Excited to be on the podcast. This is my first one. So nervous and excited all at the same time.
I love that. It's processing the same part of the brain. Don't worry about it. Let's go towards the excitement piece. So, Mr. Cedric, where are you from? What brought you to Life University? Tell me a little bit about your backstory.
So I am originally from New York. Family from the South area, but no family directly in the Georgia area, but familiar with the South, Southern roots from my family. Born and raised in New York, went to college in a much colder area of Massachusetts. And I had been in New York pretty much all my life except for the time in college. And I was looking for a change and looking for something different. So I stumbled upon the job posting for Life University, and it was motivating to me really around lasting purpose. So that's, really what brought me here. It sort of talked to my spirit.
That's beautiful. So you were looking for heat, in other words.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what your position at the university is. What does that entail?
Wow, great question. I am the Chief Financial Officer, as you mentioned. What I think is different about this opportunity was actually having the opportunity to work with the individual currently in that role. So Bill Jar will be transitioning, as he likes to say, not retiring, to enjoy some other things in life at the end of the year. So I'm having the great opportunity of working with him, and I think it was some forethought to actually giving someone an opportunity to learn from the person that's actually the predecessor. So, hats off to Dr. Scott and Chairman Kevin Fogarty for thinking through bringing someone on that can actually gain some of that institutional knowledge. Because typically when you start a new position, you're starting new, the person is gone, and you're just trying to peel back the onion and figure things out. And this way I have the opportunity to actually ask questions.
That's
so
beautiful.
It's really helpful to have that.
That's amazing. And yeah, Mr. Biljar has been such a beautiful pillar in this institution for many, many years. So it's amazing that you were not thrown into the sharks.
Yes. What big shoes to fill.
What big shoes to fill, no pressure. But what a beautiful opportunity for you to have that, to learn from him and also continue just bringing innovative ideas that allow the institution to continue to grow and stay connected and truly live through lasting purpose. So you did mention that lasting purpose kind of was like your hook for Life University. Yes. Tell me what about it? What about lasting purpose?
Well, I think it spoke to me, from a spiritual perspective. I like to think that I'm, very rooted in religion, although, God is still working on me. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to get better.
On all of us. It's all good.
Working on all of us. So even my journey was here to life was, I think, inspired by that aspect of it, which, just the idea of do, serve, love, give, all of that is really, for me, feels rooted in a biblical sense. So that's what I want to do in life and help and serve people. And I do that outside of, my job. And it's just part of who I am. So to have that opportunity to be part of an organization that actually embodies that and speaks to it, and it's not on the walls, it's in the halls, and people sort of do that. So that's sort of what inspired me to want to come here and be part of, a part of life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about your background. What about financial? Talk to me. Give me the tour around your life.
So I think it started when I was very little. It's a question of nature versus nurture. So my father owned two small, what we call corner stores back when I was growing up, which, now they call bodegas, but preceding that, basically, that's what he owned. He did that. And just looking at him and now having a different appreciation for it. So, I guess I'll date myself a little bit in my journey. So when I was born in 1970, my dad was 50. So if you do basic math, that means he was born in 1920.
Wow.
So if you do a little math and make a conservative assumption that maybe his dad, my grandfather, was 30 when he was born, we're talking 1890. So the world, life is different. And my dad, didn't graduate, I believe, from high school at that time. So being able to achieve what he did and not having that formal education, you know, is something that I have to look back, you know, and just admire how he was able to do that, you know, with little education and be able to support a family. And again, you know, I had a pretty large family. On my father's side, he had 6 other kids before me.
Wow.
So, and my mom had 3. So I was the baby of 10.
Oh my goodness.
But technically the only child between my mom and dad. So,
Gotcha.
you know, that creates other kind of issues when you have, you know, baby, you know, you're the baby and you're the only child. But looking at him, I wanted to sort of be in business and it just sort of segue some way into finance. So the college I went to was a small liberal arts college, but, you know, rooted in business. Decided to go back and get my MBA, although I work for the city, and typically people would get an MPA in public administration. I chose to go the business route. I think it would give me, you know, more advantages. So I sort of did that, worked for the city for a number of years. Another odd story, but I was actually a correction officer before I actually began working for the city. So my first job with the city was working for the Office of Management and Budget, and I actually worked in the group that managed the budget for the Department of Correction for Rikers Island. So working for New York City, you get a lot of experience in budgeting at a very large dollar value. So that helped me understand basically numbers, budgeting, really from all perspectives, and working for city agencies, able to see a lot of how things worked. Then I wanted to take an opportunity to move sort of away from city government, ended up working for Brooklyn Bridge Park, which was a not-for-profit quasi-government entity, and able to, again, as the inaugural CFO, I did it all from the ground up, so having to be a little bit entrepreneurial in that space. And then most recently working at Columbia University. So that gave me an opportunity to understand higher ed. So all of that was sort of finance that I think I'm more interested in the not-for-profit space than I am in the for-profit space, because you have that ability to give back and affect, you know, people and change.
And what does it mean to be in a nonprofit institution or organization?
So it allows you actually to be connected and helpful to the people and not just profit driven. So when I worked for New York City, I was even closer because I worked for the Department of Homeless Services. And there I was able to help them collect some revenue, probably closer to $20 million or so, that if we didn't collect that revenue from the state and the federal government, more than likely we would have to have cut services to the homeless population. So it's better to bring in that additional revenue and still be able to provide those services. So those are the things that I enjoy doing from a financial side that actually help an organization.
That's beautiful. And what would you say would be, as a newcomer to Life University and having already these amazing experiences and in your back pocket, what would you say would be your absolute top 3 goals right now coming in where you would like to help drive the university?
One is transparency. I've been on a bit of a tour around and speaking with people, and I think transparency, communication, and leveraging some of our financial systems that we already have. I look at some of the work that we're doing. For example, we're doing a renovation in LVR this summer, but who knows about it? And I think there's an opportunity to share the good work that's being done by the operation team, Dr. Schneider and Colin and Kelly, to showcase, you know, what we're doing and what your tuition dollars are paying for. So we need to have more of those stories so people can actually see what the money is going for. If you're not in LVR, you may not know it. You may be there and may not know. But if you can see it, so one of those things I want to be able to do is use our, you know, platforms that we have, in particular our website, to sort of showcase the work, you know, just like you see a before and after, being able to sort of show that work and, you know, showing how the dollars are being spent, if possible, to say, we're investing in your facility for you.
That's amazing. I know the community is definitely going to love that, and the communication and the transparency. And I love that you're expressing this, like, just as it is, and that is a big goal, because that's also part of the reasons why we're doing this beautiful podcast, right?
Yes.
To shine a light in the things that are happening at the university so that we can keep the community connected and together and truly living purposefully. All right, so that's one. I asked for 3. What else? What else do you got for me?
So besides transparency, I'd say, again, tying in with that is the communication aspect of it and leveraging systems. We have different financial systems, as I'm learning, but we're not optimizing them as we should. So one of those things that I'm looking at is how do we leverage that, working again with the IT team in various capacities to be able to streamline and make it a little more efficient in what we do. Because if you can eliminate some of the more manual processes, that gives you opportunity and time to do what is really important, and you could do some other analysis and possibly some long range forecasting. We don't look out as far as we should, and having that experience in New York City, we would do budgets for 5-10 years. Here at Life, we do them for I think 2 years, maybe max, maybe 3. Let's do some long range planning. Let's do 5 years on sort of our operating expenditures, but we have a beautiful campus that we could make more beautiful. So let's do some long range, 10-year planning and see what we can actually do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. Thank you for taking the leap of faith to coming to our not so small Life University campus with a giant heart and a beautiful purpose of lasting purpose and vitalism. Good luck. Good luck. Continue learning from the amazing Mr. Biljar, and also just shining your light and bringing your energy, which feels so good and so exciting and so fresh. We're definitely really excited about all those successes that we'll see the university going. I'm not going anywhere for a long time. I hope you're not going anywhere for a long time. So let's see this university grow together.
We will see it. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Good luck on your journey. Welcome to Life University. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Living Life, a Life View. Bye.
Bye.